Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P. Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more. Live from our newsrooms brings back our hit news network, SNN, with many news anchors like Arthur Brooks, Addison Hayden, and Beatrix Gemma. Brings you stories about the news worldwide. Tune in on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations. To get the latest news today, listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more. The latest show goes after hours. The Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas brings out more for our Lucas Nation fans. Tune in for reviews, topics, and even special guests. We go beyond the swankiness as it's juicy as hell with our DJ Lou Pezzi, playing nothing but the hits on the Spotify podcast version. Live from our studio of Swanky Studios, it's the Beyond Swanky podcast with Kennedy Lucas on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio station. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
You are now tuned in to Atlanta's hottest radio show.
Our stories from our studio to your ear. It's the Beyond Swanky podcast.
With your host, Kennedy Lucas. On Swanky 93.3 radio station. The Heat 94.6 radio station.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to our hit show here today from the studio, Swanky Studios. It's a beautiful Monday. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you don't know by now, this is the Beyond Swanky podcast. I'm your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Welcome back to our exciting show. And let me just tell you that we out here, we making history, right? As I always like to do in the intro of every podcast, you know, we've got T, he's here. Addison, Arthur, they're here. DJ Lupizzi, I see you, man. You here. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got two new hosts for our radio show. These are my nearest and dearest people. They worked with us, K.L.P. Entertainment, for a while. And now it is the time where they come on the microphone. So guys, introduce yourself.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen. What's up? It's your girl, Monica Gray. Finally, back on a mic. Finally, being a voice for the Beyond Swanky podcast. I'm stoked. I'm excited. Y'all always hear about how Kennedy talks about Monica. Monica this, Monica that. And now I feel like it's the time where I need to come in front of a mic and be part of this venture. The numbers have been hitting. Numbers have been hitting really well. I just want to thank Kennedy, if I may, just real quick. I know we got things we have to talk about, but the numbers don't lie. Numbers have been really, really good, and it's time. It's time for me to come on the show, be a part of this podcasting family, and I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all thought I was fronting. Monica, I'm telling you, they thought that you weren't real. They thought that, oh, Kennedy's just playing. No, Monica is real. She's real. God damn it. And she's on the show now. Monica's here. Monica, I gotta say, thank you. I know we'll talk more after the show, but I gotta say, thank you so much. Wow, season two. This is gonna be good. This is going to be quite exciting. I'm surely excited for this. But guess what, guys? We don't just have Monica. We got one more person. One more person up in this building.
Whoa, I'm so excited. So, you guys haven't met me before, but I'm gonna give him a hit, Kennedy, but I mean, we got to keep rolling with it. But head producer, and I produce a lot of Kennedy's films, or help produce a lot of Kennedy's films. Did y'all guess it? James Myers is up in the building. Hi, everyone, Lucas Nation fans. My name is James Myers. I have been working with Kennedy for years. Helped produce his 3 movies, Street Style, Your Culture on Prime, and also Eden Prime and Harlan Second Term, had one of the producers. And I am not only an artist, director myself, but I am also a writer. So yes, we worked with him on his films. I co-wrote with him. We met, I want to say, in 2016 or 17, and ever since then we just kind of clicked. I'm I'm excited because it's time. Like Monica said on the show, guys, it is time for us to kind of blossom out, and not only just to be, writers and producers, but to also be the voice, or be a voice rather, because Kennedy, hey, here to take your spot. But to be that voice for our nation family and K.L.P Entertainment. So I'm excited. I'm stoked, and I'm ready to talk about the topics. I'm ready to really dabble on into what we have to talk about today, and hopefully, I'm very grateful, but I'm hopeful that our fans will love our new direction with the Beyond Swanky podcast. Yeah, we're here. We're here. I'm excited.
We got James, we got Monica, and now we got K.L.P. It's a 3-man and woman band show. Gosh, I feel like we the freaking Breakfast Club when Angela Yee and DJ Envy and Charlemagne. So yes, that's our new direction, ladies and gentlemen. Gosh, I gotta calm down, Monica. Look, this is what we do. Innovation that excites. Like I say to you guys, thank y'all for coming on the show. We're gonna have fun moving forward in season 2, and then season 3, and then season 4. Now, here's the deal. This is kind of an introductory episode as well, but we do have topics. But here's the deal, because a lot of people are like, oh, great, they're gonna be on after K.L.P Aftermath. That's not the case. So James and Monica, they don't mind being on camera, but they rather not. And when you're trying to get somebody on board and they say we got some stipulations, that's fine. And we feel like just doing the audio version is going to work out better anyway. So it's only going to be their I hate to say it like this because I don't even want to really bring this up, but they're contracted for the Beyond Swanky podcast. Because this is a show that everybody likes. And to be honest with you guys, Beyond Swanky podcast has been hitting, the numbers have been higher than K.L.P Aftermath, believe it or not. So, innovation that excites, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready. They're ready for their topics for today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun podcast. So, like to all of our listeners that's listening, let us know what you think. This is what we got going on now. Let's do a little bit of K.L.P Entertainment housekeeping news, and guys, I'll take care of this part. So, what's going on with K.L.P Entertainment news? We just wrapped up Street Style Homecoming post-edit. Very, very excited for that as well, because you guys were there at the trip. And I'm excited. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Yes, it's going to be 3 hours long, but it's going to be a show that I feel that you guys are going to enjoy. So, I'm excited for that to be released very soon. We'll get a release date for you guys very, very soon. But 3 hours long, it's going to be a great documentary. I'm not just tooting my own horn here, but we're working. We're also on set for this hit episode for sure, or this hit movie that's coming out, 1943, that's already been announced, and you guys saw a little snippet on social media as well. So, again, we're excited. We're very, very excited for that. So, as always, we get into it, and that's that K.L.P. Entertainment hit news, what we got going on thus far. So yeah, we've got some good things. We got some topics today, and Monica, because this is y'all's show. Now, this episode, this is for y'all, Monica and James. Now, Monica, I heard that we got some news that came out today, and of course, our special sponsor for today. So, Monica, take it away.
Yeah, so this was a segment that I wanted to do for the Beyond Swanky podcast. Of course, you have it on K.L.P. Aftermath, the elephant in the room, and it's kind of like that, but I like to just call it, of course, the Gray Report. Of course, it's just, what we're talking about on the news of hip hop or whatever we've got. That's not quite really not highlighting it at a successful light, because there's some drama within this. But what is not drama, of course, your sister and Sister Deamber Patterson. I hope that we do meet one day. We got to give, there's our special shout out and sponsor from Floral Haven XO, LTD company. I did see that your sister, Kennedy, has released a playbook. Of course, it is called the Beginner Floral Business Playbook. She wrote this. So now that she's an author and a writer, she has that out there where people can purchase this on her website. Again, she has a good website too, by the way. I peeped it. And of course, you guys can go over in the book. The playbook is called the Beginner Floral Business Playbook. You guys go to her website. She has Facebook page, by the way, but go to Floral Haven XO right now. Right? You can shop for your roses because you deserve your roses. And of course, when you go to the shop tab, you click down, it's right there. It's only $45. You cannot beat that. $45 for that playbook is outstanding, right? It's the Beginner Floral Business Playbook, only $45. Go to it, shop there over at floralhavenxo.com. Of course, if you are living in the Savannah area, get your roses in, right? Everybody deserves their roses, so get yours in today from Floral Haven XO Ltd company, Floral Haven XO. And shout out to your sister Kennedy Deamber. Shout out to you. Now, let's talk about the and I butchered her name, Glorilla and Finance 2 times Concert Stampede's victim family plans to sue. We all heard about this one. So Glorilla and Finesse 2 times may be facing legal actions in connection to the stampede following their recent show at Rochester, New York, that left 3 women dead. Now, this is sources coming from TMZ. And the family of the Brandy Miller, one of the 2 women killed in the immediate aftermath of a tragic incident last Sunday. This was March 5th. Now, they're speaking with attorneys and exploring their options to recourse the situation. Now, this woman's sister, Michelle Miller, told the outlet that the family plans to sue on the Main Street Armory where the event took place. The promoters were organized by the promoters who organized the concert, guys, as well as the 2 Memphis rappers. They're in the lawsuit. Now, according to this new news source, guys, according to ABC News, reports of shots being fired inside the venue sparked panic, leading to a deadly stampede that injured 9 people in total. So the Rochester police responded at 11:05 p.m. based on its initial reports of gunshots inside the venue, which has a capacity of 5,000. So officers found multiple people injured. However, they're gonna the investigation started later on, revealed that none of the injuries were consistent with the gunshot wounds, and police have cast doubt on whether a shooting actually took place. Now, 3 people were transported via ambulance at the Strong Memorial Hospital. But including the 33-year-old woman who died from her injuries that evening, Brandy Miller was reported dead Monday, March 6th, and a 35-year-old Aisha Stevens scrambled to her injuries, succumbed to her injuries Thursday, March 9th. So this is huge. This is a huge situation for not only the promoters, but also the two rappers, Glorilla and Finesse two times. And I feel bad for my girl, Glorilla, because she she's up and coming. So when you're up and coming and you're not able to you're able to perform really well, and then now this happens, and now your name is kind of squandered, right? Um, a lot of people are saying that was it's not necessarily her fault, but we all know about the shooting at Travis Scott's Astroworld concert, right? Where I think, Kenny, I think 9 people died. So it's sad. It's a sad dynamic. It's a sad dynamic for that. And unfortunately she got that end of that deal too. So by all accounts, both Glorilla and Finesse two times have already left the venue when the crowd surge occurred as fans attempted to leave the building. After the show, the Tomorrow rapper took to Twitter to address the tragedy, expressing her shock, Glorilla, and sadness while sending prayers to those who were in attendance. Now, this is what she said, and there's a quote here. I'm just now hearing about what happened. WTF, teary, sad face emojis, praying everyone is okay, prayer hands emoji. Now, on Monday night, she returned with a longer healthful message written, and this is what she said. I am devastated and heartbroken over the tragic death that happened after Sunday's show. My fans mean the world to me. Teary-faced emoji, praying for the families and for a speedy recovery of everyone affected. Oh man, this is tough. This is very, very tough. Now, the family of Brandy Miller said that they will be speaking to attorneys since she was pronounced dead, and they are hoping to retain a high profile attorney as they have no plans to back down. I don't think this is going to go good. I think they're going to get, I don't want to say rewarded, guys, but I want to say that, yeah, they're going to get something out of it. So we'll continue to watch this news and see what happens. But I do think the Miller family, they're going to get a recovery compensation for one of their daughter being pronounced dead from a concert. So it's a sad dynamic. It is.
Yeah, yeah. Good reporting, Monica, for sure. Yeah, guys, this is like Monica said, Glorilla, she's glowing up, no pun intended. But it's one of those things. It's an unfortunate incident that happened, and I do hope that she recruits from this. But like I agree with Monica here, yes, I do think that she's going to it's going to have some backlash, right? Because as you mentioned, Monica, it is true. Travis Scott, he got a lot of backlash from his concert and what happened. So it's a sad dynamic. Our condolences here on the show goes out to the Miller family, because no one wants to see their child pronounced dead and have to bury their young child. No one does. No one wants to see that. But it's unfortunate for sure.
I think for me, my take on it, I think it's going to be a point where, you have, because it is festival season, right? So festival season's getting ready to go out. Ticket sales are going out. You have all of these artists, like, I'm not trying to compare the two, but, you got Beyonce that's getting ready to come back on tour. You've got Dreamville that's getting ready to happen in April in North Carolina. So now this becomes a point where, even from Travis Scott's Astro World's fiasco that went down, I'm sure a lot of artists are really now thinking about, okay, this happened to Travis Scott. Now Glorilla and Finesse two times is going through the same predicament. Then maybe it's time that we bring up the measures, we bring up security, we bring up safety requirements. And honestly, in my opinion, if you want a good concert to really go off really smoothly and not have any troubles when it comes to someone losing their life by going to a concert, then we have to look at, we as in them, the artists, they have to look at safety concerns. I think what's happening is artists are wanting to, because is you're supposed to, right? Artists are wanting to perform their very best, and when things go down, they don't want anything to do with it. Not saying that Glorilla and Finance Two Times they're hiding from this and don't want nothing to do with this and say, hey, well, this has nothing to do with us. That's not what I'm saying, but they want to perform good at a concert. And they don't want stuff like this to happen because if it does, now they're letting PR handle it. They're letting ticket promoters or the venue host or the venue security, they're letting them handle that impact while we progress on. So it's a weird dynamic, but I think a lot of artists are now thinking like, I don't want this happening at my concert because now I have to be liable for someone getting hurt, someone dying, someone's family ended up suing for millions and millions of dollars because honestly, I think the Miller family, they can. Will they? We don't know yet, but I feel like they can. So it's just, I don't know. We just, you have to really watch out, have an eye for that kind of stuff, really.
Yeah, James, I think you're right on that too. I think a lot of artists they're looking very, 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 very closely in that regard. So we can only really pray for the best for sure. So now typically on this type of show, we like to pod about something that we really want to talk about. And you guys been listening obviously to the show for a very, very long time, and this is the show where I like to get a little juicy with it. The Breakfast Club did a topic like this before, and I want to propose this question to you guys. Like, what do you guys think of this topic of conversation, this question? And the question is, how long do you have to be in a relationship with somebody to think about marriage? Now, I know we're going there. I get it. Uh, a lot of people have opinions. They do. And I wanted to talk about it. And for all of our fan base that are listening, chime in for sure, because I would love to hear from you guys. We would actually. But the question I propose on today's podcast: how long should you be in a relationship with somebody, just dating, before you're thinking about marriage? Now, I guess I'll go ahead and dive in with this as well. A long time. As I say in many, many times, I haven't thought about marriage because you realize how expensive things are. You do. You realize how much weddings cost. Trust me, I worked at hospitality industry where it was a great industry. I loved the job back in 2018. And we would cater to a lot of weddings. We would. But how long does that take for that to grow out really real? And, you really got to stop and think about, okay, do I really want this? Do I want to spend a lot of money on this for a wedding? So for me, I think knowing your partner, like knowing what your partner, your significant other, knowing what they do on the day-to-day basis. Because when you get married, you're living with that person, you're splitting finances with that person, you're splitting housing with that person. So if you living with somebody who is dirty and dingy and nasty, because for me, Monica, you've seen it. You've seen how the way my house is. I'm very, very clingy with that.
Hell yes, I've seen your house. Guys, I tell you, because Kennedy would tell you about these things on the show. And like you said at the beginning of the show, people thinking we'd be bullshitting. But I've seen his house. this guy is clean, right? I came over one time and I didn't use, I got, he had this really nice juice and I didn't use a coaster. And I swear to y'all, Kennedy comes up and says, honey, that's not hot. No, use a coaster, please. Put the coaster on. So it is true. It is so true. Kennedy has this really, and it's a good thing, right? It is. Not ladies, let me tell y'all. Lady to lady, let me tell y'all. It's important to have somebody that is clean, who takes care of himself groom-wise. I'm still trying to convince Kennedy to shave that beard he got on there, but he's a clean man. And you want that in your man. You want to be clean. You want to be showered. You want to, well, him to be showered. You want him to smell good. You want his dick to smell like blossom, right? Especially if you're sleeping with that person. There's a saying that if you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. And that's true. Because, sorry, honey, sorry, Kitty, but the men I dated before that, you know, they're dirty. They felt itchy. They didn't clean the sheets, and obviously those men back in my past, I'm not with those men anymore because of how dirty they are. So having someone clean, functioned, washed, groomed, we finally I'm not harping on you, Kennedy, but he got his haircut, and he looks good with the haircut. So to that point that I'm making to my ladies out there that might be listening, that yes, you want somebody that is clean, that is clean enough to where you can show off to your parents, show off to your friends, right? So for me, if you're me, to answer the question, for me is cleanliness as well. For me, knowing a man that is cleaned for and stay clean for a couple of years, then maybe we'll consider marriage, because now I've seen his habits. I've seen his clean hygiene. I can live with that. But the question is how long. I kind of agree with Kennedy. Now, and Kennedy's been open about us. We're waiting, right? We're waiting for all of that because it is expensive. I'm one of those, and we're all kind of Gen Zers, right? We want to be in a relationship where we're financially stable. And right now, how the way the economy's going, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for a lot of people. I read today that the Silicon Valley Bank is closed, or I think it reopened, but it was getting ready to be closed, right? So it tells you something that our economy's not right. Something's not right. So save your money is what I say. I think marriage, and I finally get to voice it on the show. Kennedy said it a long time because we've talked that marriage to us is overrated. Like a lot of people are doing that. I have a lot of girlfriends that have been married, 2 kids, and they say that shit hurts giving birth. I've seen videos, and a part of me is a little bit traumatized. But it's real, it's natural, it happens, it's life, but it is traumatizing. So, to that question, here's my answer. It's overrated, in my opinion. I think you would be fine just dating and trying to figure it out, because, again, at the end of it, it does cost to be married. It does cost to be divorced and separated. It does cost to have kids. It costs. And I think a lot of people, some people, and that's probably why the reason why us Gen Zers, we're not looking into that right now. So that's how I feel on that.
Yeah, so for me, you guys are getting the exclusive. Um, to answer the question short, it is true what you guys are saying, that us Gen Zers, we are taking our time, and I think we're just kind of being more. I want to say the word is rebellious or different, because I think the way we think is completely different than what our parents think. Now, me growing up, and I think me and you, Kennedy, we share the same kind of value that our parents would want us to at first get married young because they got married young. Now, my parents were in their mid 20s, kind of late 20s when they got married. I know, Kennedy, you were saying your folks got married super young, but I didn't know too much about young parents getting married at, let's say, 17, 18, 20, 21, because my parents were in that mid to late 20s when they got married. Um, so my parents, unfortunately, they've got divorced as well. So I think it's me and you both, well, yeah, me and you both, Kennedy, with, our parents divorced and, we're over it with whatever. So our level of thinking now in Gen Z, we have become different. And I think in Kelly, you give me that stare, you like, go ahead, because you know what I'm about to say. I think now that seeing our parents separated and we kind of felt like, okay, well, marriage doesn't work for a lot of people. And to me, this is just my opinion, guys. I think it doesn't work for people who had parents who split, right? Because we see our parents split, and now we don't want to take on that burden. We don't want to say, okay, well, my parents split. I don't want to be in a messy divorce as well. Um, so it's just one of those things that it does happen for us Gen Zers, and that's what's kind of stopping us from getting married, and why we don't want to get married so young. We don't want to tie down, and we want to date for a very, very long time. And some of us, y'all getting the exclusive right now because I'm guilty of it. We as gentlemen. No, no, sorry, Monica, but maybe women could do it too. But you know, we I'm a fuck boy. I was trying to find a clean way to do it, but yeah, I sometimes hit it and quit it, right? You get your Tinders and your Hinge, and I'll kid you ask, does it work? Because we talking in the office, you like, hey, that works. But for me, it works. The social media apps, Tinder, Humble, Hinge. So it's one of those things that it does happen and it's out there, and we just want to hit it and quit it. We don't want to tie down. We don't want to get married because we're still young, us being Gen Z. And then also, again, we see our parents split, right? So that's what I feel happens to answer the question why people don't want to get married after, let's say, 5 years of dating someone, right? It could be financials like you guys mentioned, or it could be, hey, we're not ready because we just want to hit it and be done with it. And number three, oh, if I get married, I'm scared I'm gonna be divorced just like my parents. Right. So it's kind of that psychology that kind of goes into that. And what we have an outlook on also, and this is a story, if I may. For me, I do watch the type of woman I date. Little backstory. I dated a girl, not gonna name her name, obviously, for the show as well, but I dated a girl, and the girl didn't have much aspirations. She didn't really know what she wanted to do. She didn't really, and this was in college, so she was undecided majors, to which I don't judge, right? Because when I was in college, I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I kind of twisted up a little bit. She had no idea what she wanted to do, and this was sophomore year. So again, I'm like, I shouldn't judge too harshly because you're a sophomore, but maybe it's time for you to get ready to figure out what you're trying to do in this world, right? So I dated her and I came up, right? I've made some other business decisions and I've made a little bit of money. I didn't make millions, but we've made a little, we were up, right? And she wanted me to pay for everything. I was that gullible boyfriend at the time. Yes, honey, I got you. I'm gonna pay for it. Whether it's out to eat, whether it's if she's short on a bill or something, hey, I got you, right? But I never saw the same thing the same thing reciprocated back to me. Like if I was ever short, I knew I couldn't really go to her because I knew she would say, "Hey, I don't have it." So that is another reason why I am holding off on marriage, because I'm looking for the right one that say, "Hey, if I know I'm short a week, then hey, I know you got it." Right? Um, Splitting up bills, right? I think a lot of some women, not I'm rephrasing that here on the show, some women, not all, very small percentage of women want, and Monica, you can correct me if I'm wrong after this statement, but uh, some women wants to be taken care of by the man a lot, 100%, and it's never 50-50. So that's why I don't see it working out for us. Well, the man then, she's no longer my girlfriend. It was years ago, but that's why I broke it off, because it was never 50-50. Even us just being boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, I'm not saying boyfriend and girlfriend should take care of each other and pay their like big bills, but if I know that someone doesn't have my back, being boyfriend and girlfriend, how the hell I'm supposed to trust them in a marriage? Because a marriage is different. Your marriage, to me, marriage is a whole thing to where it's a contract. It's a business contract between two people. It's never, it's black and white, right? It's black and white, and it's supposed to be 50-50, but nowadays in our generation, it's not always like 50-50, but we're advocating 50-50. So to answer that for my answer, yeah, wait a minute. Find out who that person is. Find out if that person can give you all you need and not have to feel like you have to pay for everything. You have to sponsor everything. You have to take care of this person 100%. When in reality, in our society, it's supposed to be 50-50.
James, you're not wrong. You're not. I've met women who, it's gonna sound like a cliche, guys, but I've had girlfriends who want their man to pay for their bills, pay their phone bill, pay the restaurant bill, pay the light bill, get their nails done, do their hair, get their toes done, get a pedicure, take them to the spa. I'm a firm believer in woman independence, obviously. But some women now, or in our generation, I'm saying woman to woman, they want somebody to pamper them and not really have them stand on their 2 feet. So I do agree with that. I do. I met women who treat their men like they're special in a good way. And I've met women who became independent to a certain extent. Like, you don't want to become your own man, ladies. I've seen that movie. What's that movie? Think Like a Man. I've seen that movie. You don't want to become your own man, right? But sometimes if you want to go out and you say, no, I got it, it's all on me, then yeah. I met a woman like that. She was telling me some of her secrets, and hopefully I'm not putting him on blast, but of course our producer T, Towers Lester, is here. And T, his girlfriend, gives, like, it's so special. As T come up, T's gonna explain it, guys. He's coming to the mic. Come here.
Yeah, T, get up on the mic, man. It's been too long since you've been in the podcast. Tell them about you and Shemaya. I love Shemaya. Shemaya's really, really sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yo, people, it's T, Towers Lester. Y'all have heard my voice before. I'm probably going to be back on in front of the mic as well coming soon. But my girl, Shemaya, she does some great things. And she works hard. She works really, really hard for her money, for her pride, for her style, and that's where I fell in love with her. And real quick, because I know this is y'all's show, but I remember this one time where it happens in movies, but this really did happen. So I took her out to lunch, and for some strange reason, my car got affected by fraud. So for some crazy reason, my bank froze my bank account, and I didn't know. So me and Shemaya, we went to dinner, and lunch, and we were having a great time. We're vibing like we normally would, and I go to pay for lunch. Obviously, now, like Monica said, yeah, you want to have it to where you pay for your ladies' lunch, your girls' dinner. Like, that's how you use a date. But have her, if she wants to pay for certain things by herself, let her do it. So I'm going to pay. Gave her my card. We're paying, wrapping up, getting ready for our next part of our date. And the waiter comes back. And he says, sorry, sir, your card declined. So that's when I got a text after they swiped it, and they said they froze that card because of fraud. So the waiter said, I'll just give y'all a minute, right? Shemaya says, hey, baby, don't worry about it. Use my card. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my card. Because at this point, I'm already embarrassed, guys. So at this point, Shemaya goes, hey, just use this card. Act like it's your card. Say, oh, my mistake. I used the wrong card. Use my card. Pay for lunch. Don't worry about it. I got you. So when the waiter comes back and he says, you all ready? And I said, yeah, I'm sorry. I gave you the wrong card. That card's been shut off a long time ago. Use my other card. It was really Shemaya's card. Swiped it. We paid for lunch. And like my pride, my embarrassment kind of got out the window. And later on, obviously, I called the bank and there was fraud. I didn't know about it. They unhooked my card and got my card back active, and I reported fraud, and the rest was history. But it was a funny moment, funny moment. So to the point that Monica made, guys, that yes, it's good to meet a woman, for my men and for my ladies too, if you like women. We won't judge here on my show, but if you have that person that doesn't want everything to be pampered, that's the one for you.
Hey, T. Y'all thought I was bullshitting about T too. Now, okay, we did alter his voice because he used to do this thing where he didn't like the sound of his voice. So, or maybe he was hiding from somebody. I don't know, because he had this deep thing going on right now. But yeah, T, that's what T sounds like here in the studio. T, thank you, man. Finally, we are expressing your real voice. Thank God, because it's been too long. We got to get you back on the show, man. Especially in K.L.P. Double Take. We got to bring that one back for sure. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you guys think. Honestly, we've said our opinions and how we feel, but honestly, as me, James, and even T, we've said our piece. It's still our opinion, right? So it doesn't make it true necessarily to some people. Some people are get married right away and they're happy, right? I know a lot of college friends that got married right after GGC, and they married their best friends, right? So it's a very opinionated thing. It's a weird thing, but I mean, we're in this generation that people are feeling this way. So I just thought this would be a good topic for the topic of conversation, for sure. But that's going to wrap up our podcast, ladies and gentlemen, for today, Monday, March 13th. Guys, remember, we spring forward. I was not ready for that, but we did spring forward. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, thank you so very much. Yes, we've got James and Monica. They're going to be on the show starting today's episode and moving forward. I love it. I really do love it. Thank you guys for coming in the studio. Thank you guys for just being your true selves and just finally having the guts to come on radio and to just express your voice, express your opinions. And we're here for the long haul, and I cannot wait for more podcasting for them as well. So again, go check out Floral Haven XO, as Monica mentioned earlier in her Gray Report. My sister, Deamber Patterson, shout out to you, Deems. You've got this amazing playbook out right now on your website. Guys, it's only $45 if you want to learn how to start your very own floral business. Deamber Patterson has the tips and she has the skills, and she wrote about her ideas in this book. Very, very good, because now there's two authors in the family. right? Because I wrote a book, Radio of the Future. It's available right now. And now Deamra's writing a book. And even my mom is writing a book, right? So we're all some authors right in the family. We're writing books. So that's going to wrap it up here on the podcast, the Beyond Swanky Podcast, Season 2, with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas, and Monica Gray, and James. And then we even got T in the mic for his part, too. So thank you guys so very much. If you're listening or if you're watching the video version of it, thank you so much. Like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel over at K.L.P Entertainment. And if you're listening to the audio version on Stitcher Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Anchor switched that up on us, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you guys so very much. Stay tuned later this week because we got to be having so many more content, so many more podcasting to come out for sure as well. That's going to wrap it up here, the Beyond Swanky Podcast from our cast and crew. As always, I like to say, stay safe, stay swanky, peace.
You are now tuned in to Atlanta's hottest radio show.
Our stories from our studio to your ear. It's the Beyond Swanky Podcast.
With your host, Kennedy Lucas. On Swanky 93.3 radio station. The Heat 94.6 radio station.
The latest show goes after hours. The Beyond Swanky Podcast with Kennedy Lucas brings out more for our Lucas Nation fans. Tune in for reviews, topics, and even special guests. We go beyond the swankiness as it's juicy as hell with our DJ Lou Pezzi, playing nothing but the hits on the Spotify podcast version. Live from our studio of Swanky Studios, it's the Beyond Swanky Podcast with Kennedy Lucas on Atlanta's #1 stations, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio station. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more. Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.